What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about mods that add weapons and mods that retexture some weapons and add some new cool effects to existing weapons. We have a lot to cover today, so we're going to just go ahead and get right into it. We're going to be starting with Eve, which for Fallout 3 it's Energy Visuals Enhanced, and Fallout New Vegas it was called Essential Visual Enhancements. Basically what this does is overhauls the energy visuals. We're not going to talk too much about the stuff that these do because most of them are pretty self-explanatory. For Tale 2 Wastelands, we have a merge of both of these mods to work together, and we have some installation instructions here. So it says download Eve from Fallout 3 manually, so we're going to go over to the Files tab and download the main file manually. And then also for the New Vegas one, for the Fallout New Vegas Eve, we are working with an older version. The Tale 2 Wastelands version hasn't been updated to the 1.17, so we're going to scroll down to old versions and we're going to be looking for 1.16.2. so there it is, Eve 1.16.2. so we're going to download that manually. And then back over at the Tale 2 Wastelands page, we're going to grab the two files from this page. So Eve, Tale 2 Wastelands, download. And then we're also going to be getting the Eve 1.16.2 update file. So download that as well. And alright, so while we're waiting for those to download, we're going to go ahead and go over to the next mod, which is Impact. This mod basically adds better impact decals for the game, better bullet casing, stuff like that. So as you can see, there's like different holes per caliber ammo, just simple stuff like that. I'm going to suggest there's three main files here: the Basement Dweller for low-end rigs, Gaming Rig for medium, and the Michael Bay for high-end computers. Even if you have a high-end rig, I'm going to suggest, if you're following this guide, to get the gaming rig one because we've already installed a bunch of high-res textures and whatnot. So download that with Manager. And then we're also going to be getting the No Refract Hits optional file, so download that with Manager. And next we're going to be looking at Impact Compatibility Edition for the JIP and Lutana plugins DLC Tale 2 Wastelands. This is basically a mod that is scripted to create compatibility patches for other mods that add new weapons and stuff. So basically this is a godsend. We won't have to clog up our plugins with compatibility patches for Impact. So go ahead and just download the main file with Manager. And I'm going to go ahead and wait for this to finish downloading, and then we will come back. Alrighty, so once all four of those files are finished downloading, we're going to drag and drop them out onto our desktop, and we're going to extract them to their individual folders. Alrighty, once they're all done extracting, you can go ahead and delete the archives. We just need the folders. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make our own new folder, and we're going to name it Eve Tale 2 Wastelands. Now the first thing we're going to do is open up our Fallout 3 Eve, and we're going to grab the Meshes, Sound, and Textures folders and drag and drop them into the folder we just created. You don't need the docs and screens or the ESM. Now you can delete that. Now we have the Eve for Fallout New Vegas. Go ahead and open that. You see the same thing, we just need Meshes, Sound, and Textures from here. Drag and drop that, and then when it asks if you want to overwrite, just hit replace the files in this destination. Then once again we can get rid of that folder, and then the two files that we got from the Tale 2 Wastelands page, Tale 2 Wastelands Eve, open up. We need all three of the files from here and replace the files in the destination. Looks like I missed the Meshes folder. Okay, that might just be a little bug. Pretty sure I got... Yep, that was just a little Windows hiccup. But yeah, the Meshes, Textures, Sound, and the ESP, and then the update should just be the ESP. And we're just going to replace that ESP from the first one. Now you can get rid of both these folders. And now we're going to add this to an archive of the same name. Alrighty, so once that's finished being added to the archive, we can get rid of the folder. And now we can go over to Mod Organizer, find that archive that we just created, double click it, Manual, set data directory, and to where it says looks good, and hit OK. Alrighty, so once that's finished up, you can see it's over here. Before we enable that, we're going to go ahead and do impact. So go ahead and double click the first file, Manual, and this one's set up a little strangely. Set data directory here. We don't need the optional bullet wounds, we don't need the screens, we don't need the info, we just need the meshes, textures, and ESP. So go ahead and hit OK there. And then the no refracts hit. We're going to go ahead and do Manual, set data directory, and merge. And then lastly, we had the Compatibility Edition. Go ahead and do Manual. I'm going to shorten the name down a little bit here. And this is just going to be a replacement ESP, so go ahead and hit OK here. Now in the normal impact, we can go over to the ESPs and move the ESP up into the optional ESP file, and the Impact Compatibility Edition ESP will take precedence there. So we can go ahead and remove these from view, and just go ahead and enable all three of these. Alrighty, now we're going to be doing quite a few retexture mods, so let me get set up for that and I will meet you guys back here. Alrighty guys, and for the weapon retextures part of this video, I'm going to be following Adonis, I think that's how you pronounce it, his guide over on the STEP website. I'm going to be using this as a reference page. I've been using this as a reference page, as I mentioned like in the first video. I'll give a bigger thank you at the end of the series. Anyways, we're going to be starting off with Fallout 3 high res. According to his page, we need BB guns, grenades, knuckles. So if we go to the Files tab, there's BB gun, download that manually. Grenades, download manually. Knuckles, download manually. Then I think Lincoln's repeater, mines, and mines. And then he also said here to get the Super Mutants 4K Fox one. I'm not going to be getting this because we installed the Fox replacer already in one of the old episodes, so I'm not going to be using that. You can get it if you want, but no big deal there. So next we had the Fire Axe Retextured. It says to install and merge both plugins, so download with Manager both of these files. Then next we had the HD Onehand Melee by Insanity Sorrow. It said to get both files here, so we're going to download both of these with Manager. We have the LAER layer retexture. There's only one file here, so download this with Manager. We have MFC grenade texture fix. We're going to download the one file with Manager. We have next retextured Fallout Ordnance, and this retextures some of the big guns like missile launchers and stuff, so we're going to download the one file with Manager here. Alright, so Shish Kebab retexture, there's only one file, download that manually. And then lastly, for this section of the video at least, we have the Weapon Enhancement Pack. He said in his guide to install Weapon Enhancement Pack, so there should be a file, the Weapon Enhancement Pack, download manually. Alright, so we'll see how we're doing on the downloads. I'll go ahead and wait for all of these downloads to finish up, and then we will come back with the installation. Alrighty, so once all of those files are finished downloading, we're going to do the Fallout 3 high-res first. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 files. BB guns, grenades, knuckles, Lincolns, and mines. So we're going to bring those out onto our desktop. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a new folder, and we're going to name it Fallout 3 high-res. I think that's... and we're going to extract each of these into their own individual folders, and now we can get rid of these archives. So what we're going to do now is open up each of these and drag and drop the textures into the folder we just created. Now we can get rid of these individual folders, and we can add this to an archive, the one we created. Now we can get rid of the folder, and all we need is the archive. So go over to Mod Organizer, install from archive, find the archive we just created, manual, set data directory, and OK. Alright, so next we had the Fire Axe Retextured. This was a download with Manager. We had two files, so manual, we don't need the JPEGs, just the meshes and textures. OK. And then the second file, manual, once again we don't need the JPEG. OK, and merge. Next we had, I think that's the right order, Onehand Melee. So go ahead, we had two files for this, manual, OK. And then the Gunrunner box, manual. We don't need the PNG or the text file, just the textures, OK, and merge. Then next we had the LAER retexture, manual. We don't need any of those, so set data directory, and you can uncheck the after and before PNGs, just need the meshes and textures, and OK. Make sure we're still in the right order here. So next we had the MFC grenade texture fix, manual. This one already looks good, OK. And then we had the retextured Fallout ordnance, manual, set data directory, and OK. Then lastly we had the Shish Kebab and the weapon enhancement pack. So for the Shish Kebab, let's just take a look in here and see what we got. Just textures, so we don't really need to make a new archive or anything. Just go to install from archive, find that. I'm just going to capitalize stuff here. So I'm just going to do -retex and set data directory, and OK. And then lastly we had the weapon enhancement pack. See, it's just textures, so we're going to go once again to Mod Organizer, install from archive, weapon enhancement pack, manual, set data directory, and OK. Alright, so now we can go ahead and enable all these. None of these have an ESP, they're just all retextures, so you don't have to worry about the plugins overflowing because of this. Alright, and so for the next part we're going to be talking about the Millennium retextures, another pretty big part, so I will get set up for that and I will meet you guys back here. Alrighty, so for this next part of the video we're going to be talking about some more retextures and then Weapon Mods Expanded, which if you don't know what Weapon Mods Expanded is, it's basically a huge expansion on the vanilla modding system for weapons like silencers and whatnot. But anyways, we're starting with the Weapon Retexture project. We're going to go over to the Files tab here. This is just by Millennia a huge retexture of a lot of the weapons in the game. We're going to download with Manager the main file and then the update file. And then we have some more textures by Millennia that weren't included in his pack. So the first one we're going to be looking at is the 357 revolver retexture. Go to the Files tab, download with Manager. Then we have another one, single shotgun retexture. So go to the Files tab and download with Manager. The internet's going a bit slow here. Then we have Bozar retexture, another one. And we're going to be getting the 2K. We don't need the 4K. 4K is just kind of overkill. Download with Manager. And then we have the GRA Weapon Retexture Project Unofficial Patch version 2. Go over to the Files tab and download with Manager. Now before we move on to the WMX, we're going to go ahead and install all of these. So go over to Mod Organizer. Once these are done downloading, we will come back and install them. Alrighty, so once all those are finished downloading, go over to Mod Organizer, double click Weapon Retexture Project, Manual, set data directory, and you can get rid of the text. All you need is meshes textures. Hit OK. And then the update file, manual, OK, and merge. And then we had the 357 revolver retext, manual, OK. Shotgun retext, manual, OK. The Bozar manual, OK. And then lastly we had the GRA patch, so manual, you don't need the text, and OK. And then we're actually going to go over to the 357 revolver, and we're going to move the ESP up into the optional ESP section, and we're going to do the same thing for the single shotgun retext. Move the ESP up into the optional ESPs, and that should be it. I don't think the Bozar one had an ESP. Alright, so now we can enable all of those. And remove them from view here. And now we just have the weapon mods expanded and the weapons of the new Millennium. So let me get set up for that, and I will meet you guys back here. Alright, so for weapon mods expanded, we have another Tale of Two Wastelands modding page, installations, instructions. We're going to open up the instructions, and we see it says download manually weapon mods expanded 1.13. Unfortunately, 1.13 is no longer available, so we're actually going to have to use the 1.14, which is a newer version. I've read through the comments section on this page, and it seems that there's not any issues with going ahead and using the new version because not that much changed. So we're going to go ahead and do that for now. Then it says to download the modern weapons file from this page, so download that manually. And I think we might need so we're also going to need to grab the weapon retexture project compatibility, so download that file manually as well. Alright, we'll wait for these to finish up downloading, and then we'll be back. Alright, these have finished downloading, but I went back and read, and it looks like I missed one. We also need the WMX DLC, so it's right here, so we're going to download that manually as well. Alright, so these are pretty much done, so let's go ahead and get started here. We go over to our Downloads tab, and we're going to go ahead and bring all of these out onto the desktop. And we're going to go ahead and extract them to folders of the same name. Alright, and then we're not going to actually extract the weapon retexture project yet. We need the DLC file though, so go ahead and extract that. And now we can get rid of these three archives. And if we go back over to the installation instruction page, it says to download Tale of Two Wastelands WMX from the link below. So we're going to need to grab this file. And then there's also an update file, it looks like, so we're going to go ahead and grab that as well. And now we're going to go ahead and bring those out onto our desktop as well and extract those to folders of the same name. And then we can get rid of these. Alright, so let's look at our installation instruction. Extract all four. Navigate to the Weapon Mods Expanded folder you extracted and copy the Meshes and Textures folder. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and make a new folder, and we're going to name it WMX-Tale of Two Wastelands. Now we're going to open up the Weapon Mods Expanded version 1.1.4, and we're going to grab the Meshes and Textures folder, and we're going to drag and drop them into the folder we just created. Now we have the Modern Weapons file. We're going to do the same for that. Drag and drop the Meshes and Textures into this file, the file we just created, and then replace files in the destination. And then we have the DLC. Same thing, just the Meshes and Textures. Replace files in destination. And then we had the one from the Tale of Two Wastelands page. So this is with this POP means pre-order pack. So first we're going to open up Tale 2 Wastelands WMX. We're going to get the meshes and drag and drop that in, replace files and destination, and then we're going to do with pop because I have the pre-order packs. If you don't have the pre-order packs, do without pop, and that's going to be the SP. A little confusing because there's two here. I'm going to go ahead and use the one that's in this file because this is where the meshes were, but I would imagine either would work. So now we can go ahead and add this to an archive. Alright, so once that's done extracting, we can get rid of all of the folders. And now we can go to Mod Organizer and install a mod from archive, and then select the archive we just created, manual, set data directory, and OK. And then real quick, before we move on to the next part, we're going to be talking about compatibility patches. There is a whole thread on compatibility patches. We're going to need a couple from here. So we are using Eve, Project Beauty, Mart's Mutant Mod, WMX, Eve, and both the World of Pains. So we're going to have to get a few patches here. We're going to grab the first one at the very top, Tale 2 Wastelands Eve, plus Project Beauty, because we're not using the redesign for Tale 2 Wastelands, we only use the Project Beauty. So grab that file. And then we're also going to be grabbing A World of Pain for Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Weapon, Mod Expanded, and Eve, because we're using all four of those. And then down here at the third post, we are using Dead Boy's Mart's Mutant Mod with mod configuration menu, so we're going to download that patch. So we can go ahead and bring these out onto our desktop. Three patches, and we can open them up. I think it's just an ESP for all of them. Yep, so what we're going to do is make a new folder, and we're going to name it Tale 2 Wastelands Eve Mart's Mutant Mod Project Beauty, and what else? A World of Pain. Now you don't have to name it this, I'm just doing it for the sake of knowing what it is, but you can name that whatever you want, and then we're just going to bring all of those ESPs over into the folder we just created. There should be 3. Double check. Yep. And then we're going to add this to an archive. Then we can get rid of that folder, and we can go to Mod Organizer and install that archive. Manual, set data directory, and OK. Also, before I forget, we also had the Weapon Retexture project compatibility patch for WMX. Just bring that out onto your desktop and go to Mod Organizer, find that archive, and name it whatever you want. Manual, and it looks good. We can just get rid of the README here, and OK. Now we can just move that in between, right underneath WMX, and now we can install those 3. Alright, so we look good here. We're probably going to come back and merge these 3 together. We'll see what we're at the end of this. Let me get set up for the last part. Oh, I forgot about this one. We're going to go ahead and download this really quick. We need the half Handsified Hollow Rifle WMX DLC. Download with Manager. Double click to install. Manual. It's just a mesh. Okay. And then we can install that as well. Alright, so I'm going to get set up for the last part of this video, and then I will meet you guys back here. Alright, so next we're going to be talking about adding new weapons to the games, or to the game, excuse me. First we're going to be doing weapons in the new Millennia, and then we're going to be doing some other stuff from Millennia, and then some other weapons from other mod authors. So the first thing you want to do is go over to the Weapons of the New Millennia page and download manually the main file. I've already done that. When you hit download manually, it's going to prompt you about weapon animations replacers. Don't worry about that. Go ahead and download it anyways. We're going to be talking about that in the next video, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal for now. Like I said, I've already started the download here. It's about done. Alrighty, so once that's done, we can go ahead and bring it out onto our desktop. Then we're going to go over to Mod Organizer, and we're going to find that archive, Weapons of the New Millennia. I'm just going to shorten the name down a bit. And this is set up pretty weird. So what we're going to do as the first step is we're going to right-click Pre-Made Weapons of the New Millennia and hit Set Data Directory. Now we're going to uncheck the optional, the faux mod, the images, and the README. And we're also going to uncheck the cheat cabinet. You can keep that if you want to have all of your weapons in one little chest in the beginning, but I'm going to warn you now, that's going to put you pretty close to your ESP limit by the end of this, and I don't recommend using that anyways. And then the README we don't need either. So now we have the optional store. We're going to open that up and we're going to click the meshes, the sound, and the textures. You can get all of those just by shift clicking. We're going to drag and drop those up into data. So now we can untick optional store. So now all we have is meshes, sound, textures, and then 1, 2, 3 ESPs, and then the meshes, sounds, and textures folders that we just drag and dropped in there. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And then this is going to take a minute because it's a pretty big mod, and we'll be back. Alrighty, once that's done, we can go ahead and enable it. Go over to our optional ESPs. We're going to need to keep the Honest Hearts grunt patch because that extends the grunt perk into the weapons from the Weapons of the New Millennia, and we're going to need the leveled lists. So we're going to have to keep all of these. It's 3, so it's going to load up our load order a little bit more, but that's okay. We're going to be making some merges later in the episode. So now that that's done, we're going to talk about the rest of Millennia's weapons that he created that weren't a part of that pack. So this is a lot, but we're going to merge these all down into one single file. So we're just going to go ahead and dive into it here. First we have the Beretta. So we're going to go over to the Files tab, Download with Manager. Sure, I went through it. And then we have the next one, which is the Browning P35. So same thing, Files tab, Download with Manager. And then we have the codename RU566. Same thing, we're just going to be downloading all of these with Manager. I'm not going to really say it over and over again. Just make sure you grab the main file and download with Manager. And these will all be linked, so you don't have to worry. FAMAS F1, download with Manager. Pocket Pistol. Desert Eagle. Galil. Pernac. PKM. Super Shorty. Scout. The M31. TAS 66. The WA 2000. And then finally the last one, the Winchester trench gun. And now we are going to wait for all those to finish up downloading, and we will come back for the install. Alrighty, so once all those are finished downloading, we can go ahead and start installing them. Just a quick note for the description, I'm not going to be leaving links for every single weapon because that would take forever to write out. I'm going to leave the links to this page though, so you just click on that and it will take you, and I did do it in the same order as this here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on the install. First we have the Beretta. These are all going to be simple, manual, just check and make sure that everything looks good. You can uncheck any readmes or anything like that. I think the Browning does have one extra special step. We don't need the optional pistol replacer, so we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of the readme. So just go through, and like I said, do that, get rid of the readmes, get rid of anything other than folders and the main ESP. I'm not going to sit here and talk through me doing all 18 of these. I will go ahead and skip to the end. If I come across any that have any special instructions, I will skip and let you know. Alrighty, so once you're done installing all those, you should have 18 more mods over on the left side. Go ahead and enable all of those. And once you have all of them enabled, go ahead and start up merge plugins. Uncheck all. And then we're going to enable all 18 of those, and then the master, and OK. Now once merge plugin starts up, we're going to want to go over to our settings tab, because we have to we're going to change a setting for this one. So we're going to go over to integrations, and we're going to check copy general assets, and OK. Now we're going to click the first one and shift click the last one. Then we're going to hit add to merge, new merge, and we're going to name it Millennium's additional weapons, and OK. Now we're going to go to our merges tab. I've already done this, but you're going to hit check plugins for errors. It's going to show no errors, and then build merge, and that's all done. So we can go ahead and close out of these. And just wait for this batch file to quit running. Alrighty, so once that bat file is done running, go ahead and hit refresh. Now the reason we ticked the copy general assets is because we wanted the meshes, sound, and textures to go together. So what we can do now is unenable all 18 of those mods, and we can go ahead and delete these. You don't have to delete them if you don't want. You can just leave them unchecked. I'm doing it just for the sake of space. I'm going to remove those 18. And then I'm going to enable the Millennium's additional weapons, and that has all of the weapons merged down into a single ESP file. Alrighty, so for the Millennium's additional weapons, we actually have one more step. We're going to go over to Fallout New Vegas Edit. I haven't talked about Fallout New Vegas Edit other than at the beginning of the series. I said I kind of expected you to know what Fallout New Vegas Edit is and how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, I will leave a link down to a video I recommend, or you can just go to the YouTube search page and search Fallout New Vegas Edit. It's pretty simple. So we're going to go ahead and run Fallout New Vegas Edit. We're going to scroll down to the ESP file we just created, which was Millennium's additional weapons, and double click it. Once it loads up, we're going to expand this here, and we're simply going to delete this header called cell, or remove, and then yes, I'm absolutely sure. So what this does is it's just going to remove the weapons from Doc Mitchell's house. So basically it's a no cheat version. If you wanted to cheat and have all the weapons in his house, you could leave that enabled. So exit out, leave that checked to save, and OK. And now I'm going to get set up for the very last part of this video, and I'll meet you guys there. Alright, so for the last part of this video, we're going to be doing another additional weapons pack. Again, I'm not going to leave links to every single one down in the description. I'm going to leave a link to this page, which has links to all of the weapons we're going to be using, and in the same order. So for the first one, we have the AK-105 assault rifle. This is to get the main file and the TWMO optional file. So go over to files, download with manager the main file and the optional file. Then next we have Crossbow for the Wasteland, pretty self-explanatory. Download the main file with manager, just double check. Okay, so then we have the pre-war Crossbow, so download with manager. Then we have the M24E1, download with manager. These are all going to be pretty simple. Download with manager. The Rhino gas revolver, download the main file with manager. let's just check and make sure we don't need the optional files. That's it. So then we have the Remington 700. Download the main file with manager. Then the locomotive rifle. Download the English version with manager. Let's just check. Then scratch made, Campo, get the main file with manager. Tactical flamer revamp. Let's just check on this one as well. It says get the tactical flamer revamp base main file and the tactical flamer revamp updated ESP files. So get the base and then the updated ESP. Alrighty, then we have the Tesla rifle. Get the TAR3 main file and the patch file 01 and 02. So download all the files here. Then we have the Tesla rifle. Download the main file with manager. Thor. Download the mid-res with manager. And then the VT Myrtleizer. Download the main file with manager. Alright, so we're going to wait for those to finish downloading and then we'll come back here for the installation. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get right into the installation. The AK-105 assault rifle, double click, set data directory, and OK. And then we had the update file, double click, set data directory, and merge. Then we had the Crossbow, double click, manual, set data directory, and OK. Then we had the pre-war Crossbow, double click, manual, we can get rid of the text, and OK. We had the M24E1, double click, manual, set data directory, you can get rid of the JPEG, and OK. So for the Mason Jar Mine Redux, double click, manual, OK. I'm going to go ahead and go through all of these and install them. You guys know at this point how to install these mods, so if I come across any that have any special instructions, I will cut to that and show you what to do. Alrighty, so once you've installed them all, you can come ahead and go over to the left side and check them all. I've already done that. Now we have a few mods that have some bad edits. So the first one being the TAR3 Tesla assault rifle. So we're going to have to do some editing through Fallout New Vegas Edit. So we're going to go ahead and go over to Mod Organizer and open Fallout New Vegas Edit. And again, we're going to be following instructions from this page. So we're going to double click the tar3gun.esp. And once it's finished loading, expand tar3gun esp weapon. And then 00158337B-gas rifle record and select remove. So that's the first one. Select it and hit remove. And then yes, I'm absolutely sure. And just make sure that was it. So it says it also needs to be cleaned. So what we're going to do is apply filter for cleaning, and then undelete and disable references, and then remove identical to master records. So that's all done. Now we can exit out and hit OK, and that one's finished. So the next one that has a dirty edit, or a wild edit, it says, is the Myrtleizer. So we're going to open Fallout New Vegas Edit once again. And we're going to scroll down and double click the Myrtleizer ESP. And it says to expand Myrtleizer ESP-cell. and then right click the block 1 record and select remove. So there's block 1, remove. That also says that this needs to be cleaned, so we're going to do the same thing here. Apply filter for cleaning, undelete and disable references, and remove identical to master records, and that's all done. Now we can save, and those are all done. So now we're going to be merging these together in the no cheat way. So we're going to go ahead and go back over to Mod Organizer, and we're going to run merge plugins. We're going to uncheck all, scroll down and check all of these. I think there's like 17 or so, and then the masters, and OK. Now we're going to click the first one and then shift click the last one, and we'll wait for the background loader to finish. So it's done. Now we can hit add to merge, new merge, just copy and paste from the site, which is what I did. It's SRB's additional weapons, and I'm going to name it that for both, and OK. Now go over to the merges tab, right click, plugins, check plugins for errors. There's no errors, so OK. And then we're going to hit build merge, and it says done, so we can exit out. And once again, we're going to wait for this bat file to finish up running, and then we'll come back. Alrighty, so once the bat file is finished running, we can hit refresh. And now we can uncheck all of those mods, and we can enable the mod we just created, and we can delete these. Once again, this is optional if you want to delete these. I'm just going to delete it so things are a little more organized. Alright, so we're almost done. We have one last step, and that's to go back into Fallout New Vegas edit. So we're going to double click the ESP we just created, and then we're going to expand additional weapons cell block 1. Block 1. Right click on subblock 4 and select remove. So there's subblock 4. Remove. I'm just going to do this step by step. It's a little easier. So now it says now expand block 9. Right click subblock 3 and select remove. So there's subblock 3. Right click remove. Now it says to expand world space. So we're going to close up the cell and go down to world space. Then it says to expand that as well. Block 0. So expand block 0 dash -1, and then sub block 0 comma 2. So sub block 0 comma 2, and then right click on 0008434B dash Novak. So there's only one that says Novak, so that's easy. So we're going to right click that and remove. Yes. Still under world space, right click sub block 0 comma 1 and remove. Now let's just double check this. Still under world space 000DA726. Okay. Right click sub block 0 comma -1. So here's subblock 0 comma -1 all the way at the bottom. So we're going to right click and remove. Yes. Alright, so now it says from here on the instructions are optional. The intent is to add the M24E1 into the game without it being in the locker in the middle of Good Springs. This is solely for those that do not wish to have the powerful weapons so early in the game. So I think I'm going to leave this part out because since we're playing Tale 2 Wastelands, it doesn't really matter as much. So we're going to go ahead and exit out of Fallout New Vegas Edit and hit OK. And let me think on this for a minute and then we'll come back. Alright, so I've decided not to do the additional steps simply because it's a Tale 2 Wastelands, so it's really not going to be as big of a difference it's not the beginning of the game when we're playing Tale 2 Wastelands, and besides, if I decide I don't want to take it out of the locker, I won't take it out of the locker, no big deal. So lastly, we have one final merge to make, because we are up to 129 plugins. 139 is about about the max we want to get to, and I'm going to try to keep it under that even. 135 is what I want to shoot for. So I'm going to go to merge plugins once again. And if you remember when we installed the compatibility patches, there is 3 here. I'm going to go ahead and unenable that and re-enable it so that they're right next to each other, so they're there. Go to merge plugins, uncheck all, and then find those 3 patch files, A World of Pain, those 3, and then just get the masters and OK. Alright, so once this loads up, we're going to wait for the background loader to finish. Alrighty, so once the background loader is finished, we can click the first one and then shift click the last one, hit add to merge, new merge, and I'm just going to name this Tale 2 Wastelands mod patches merged. And OK. Now I'm going to go over to the merges tab, right click, plugins, check plugins for errors. There is no errors, so I'm going to hit build merge, close, and refresh mod organizer. Then I'm just going to move this up to where it is in my load order currently, and I'm going to unenable that and enable the new one. You can keep this in your load order if you want, or delete it, whatever you decide to do. Saves us 2 plugin spaces, so that's good enough for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and run loot, and then we'll hop into game and show you what we've done. Alrighty guys, so that's going to do it for this episode. Next time we're going to be talking about animations, gameplay, and possibly some audio stuff. We're just going to see where we're at with plugins and see if it will permit us to add some more cool things. Either way, I hope you found this episode helpful. We're winding down to the end. There's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 more episodes, and then this whole series will be done. Thank you for those of you that have stuck around this long. Thanks for watching. I hope you have found everything helpful, and I hope you continue to find these helpful. As always, I will see you in the next one, and thank you for watching.